Trials has just kicked off this week with 5 brand new challenges. I was going to post this video yesterday on Trials reset date, but I had been working on my quest guide video instead. But for the future, expect videos just like this one to be posted every Monday on Trials reset, if you guys are interested, of course. Today, I'm going to show you how to easily complete 3 stars on each and every trial for this week completely solo. This will of course be even easier in groups, as the points are always shared across your party, but I'll make sure to always cover this in solo so it's more accessible for everyone. If you're wondering why even do trials in the first place, getting 3 stars will yield you epic items upon completing them, and in a lot of cases, even some blueprints as well. Not to mention that the first and second star of each trial also give you free loot, although they'll be of green and blue rarity. So of course, when you complete all 5 trials challenges with 3 stars, you will get a total of 5 epic items or blueprints, 5 rares, and 5 uncommons. Lastly, before we jump into how to complete them all, I must mention that I'm not particularly chasing the highest amount of points possible. We're mostly just concerned about getting 3 stars in every challenge here. But if you guys would like to see a point farm instead of just covering the 3 stars, do let me know in the comments. Let's start off with the damaging Hornets. To get 3 stars, I believe you'll need to do about enough damage to kill off 8 or more Hornets. And of course, we're going to be covering all of these trials on night raid or other major map conditions to get the double points. But for this week, we did them all on night raid. Well, 8 kills is at least how long it took me to reach the 3-star threshold. I'd recommend doing this trial as safely as possible, since you'll be constantly creating a lot of noise as you fight at least 8 different Hornets. I'd recommend getting a ton of high ground, such as the launch tower on Spaceport or the Grandioso apartments in Buried City, but in my case, I did the control tower on Dem Battleground, since that's where the night raid was. I put a silencer on a Pharaoh to be able to snipe the Hornets from a long distance without drawing constant attention. I also brought several traps with me to alert me if players were trying to come up behind me to kill me, which I did end up having to face 2 different players, which I managed to kill one off and scared the other one away. After getting in position, it was all about sniping the Hornets from this rooftop, and since I was so high up in the map, there was no danger from enemy players whatsoever. The only danger would be if they rushed up behind me, which is why I brought the traps to keep them off, and of course noisemakers as well. After sniping Hornets for the entire duration of the game, with about 5 minutes left on the clock, we go for the extraction. It's usually a good idea for all of these trials, by the way, to let the clock run down. Not only will it give you more time to complete your trials and get more points, but also the closer you are to the end, the less players are likely going to be ready to ambush you on the extraction. The only downside of this approach is you'll need a beefy loadout. You can of course just come in free loadouts and try to kill Hornets randomly on sight, and of course baiting snitches as well to let them purposely spawn in more Hornets. But by doing this, of course, you will attract a lot of players' attentions all the time, since you'll need to fight a ton of Hornets. Personally, I think this challenge this week was the hardest out of all the 5, so it gets a little bit easier as we go on. Next up, we've got the Search First Wave Husks. This is the big point maker of this week, by the way. This is the trials you would like to grind for if you're trying to get as many points as possible for your leaderboard. When I saw this challenge, for some reason, I thought it was only Baron Husks, but I was completely wrong. It can be any dead Arc Husk on the floor. Rocketeer, Wasps, Barons, whatever, and they will give you a whopping 800 points per body. So you will only need to loot 5 bodies to get 3 stars, which is extremely easy to do so. But I would recommend just going for more to secure your place on the leaderboards. You can easily find well over 10 to 15 husks in about 15 minutes. I found 16 husks, which yielded 12,800 points, and I pretty much started with like 15 minutes on the clock. Had I gone the full match length, I probably could have gotten in the high 20s. So for more easily completing this, any map will do. Although I will say I think Spaceport is the safest bet. It's got the largest outskirts where there is pretty much no PvP combat or even PvE combat. And in these very outskirts, there are husks absolutely everywhere. But realistically, any map will do. I think spaceport is just easier. I would recommend going around the edges of the map, regardless of the map, just looting husks, unless you know specific husk spawns. This one is very comfortable to do with free loadouts, so you don't really need to come in too prepared. You can just do free loadouts and repeat until you complete it. For the third trial, there is the search supply drops. For this, you will only need 3 supply drops at nighttime, and thankfully nighttime is actually the best time to do this challenge because the supply drops will have a white light glowing from the top of their call station, alerting you that there is a call station there and that it hasn't been used yet. So find decent high ground and spot out all the different call stations and their little white bulbs, and then it's a matter of getting to them, calling them down and looting them, and hoping that you don't die by calling them in. You can farm this one pretty safely with a free loadout as well, so you can just keep repeating with no problems if you're not really having any luck. For the fourth trial, we've got to destroy ticks, fireballs, and pops. So for this point system, I was getting 470 points per tick, fireball, or pop. It didn't matter which, it was always 470. Of course, again, we're always talking nighttime points here, which are doubled. So we're gonna need at least 9 kills, which is not a lot, all things considered. It can of course be a pain in the ass if players have already killed a lot of the pops and ticks on the locations you're going to, but I would say this is very doable with a free loadout as well. You find pops, ticks, and fireballs more easily. It's pretty straightforward. These arc enemies are the arc that exist inside of buildings. Outside is mostly snitch, wasps, hornets, and of course the big boys, but inside the buildings it's always pops, fireballs, and ticks, and turrets as well. So putting it simply, just about any building will have a ton of these for you to kill. Personally, my night raid was up on the dam for me, so I kind of just stayed underground on the pipes, trying to avoid most combat, but I still came across 1 or 2 players. Now, if you're doing Buried City, just go to any of the big buildings, and the same applies for Spaceport and Blue Gate. As for the last trials, we've got damage ground-based arc enemies. I would say this is the second hardest one out of this bunch. For this one, I would actually recommend bringing in a custom loadout, and I would recommend finding either a Bastion, a Leaper, or a Bombardier. Personally, I did mine on Bombardiers. Pops, ticks, turrets, and fireballs are not really gonna cut it, as their health pool is far too little, so they won't really add much to this point system. What I personally did was I brought a crap ton of grenades, more specifically blaze grenades, and I also looted snap blast grenades from another raider. So I just kind of spammed a Bombardier with grenades until it died, and that got me pretty close to the 4,000 point mark. It was something like 3,700. I waited a couple minutes as I went around killing smaller arc, and another Bombardier spawned, which I then proceeded to once again throw grenades at it, eventually killing it once again, and yielding me a total of 7,526 points just by killing these 2 Bombardiers plus a few smaller arc. I also looted like 7 Bombardier parts, so that was pretty cool. And that's all of the trials this week. Let me know if you guys are interested in these weekly solo trial videos, and also if you would like me to explain more in depth or something along those lines, or if covering it like this was plentiful of information. Once again, I'd just like to remind you I plan on doing these videos every Monday unless something comes up. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll be catching you legends on the next one. Peace!